I'm mostly playing online nowadays, but I really want to attend a paper event, so maybe we go to a bot shop event on Sunday, and I thought maybe it's interesting for you to take part in me tuning this deck, so let's see what they played last time. So in September the top 8 was Sneak and Show, Lance, Breakfast, Nadu Midrange, Mardu Energy, Blue Black Reanimator, Nadu Breakfast, Saga Storm. I think there's like one good matchup, which is Sneak and Show. Lance is a really bad matchup. Breakfast is around even. Nadu is bad. Energy is bad. Reanimator is even. Storm is also bad. So I think if I could play more than one deck, I would play something else. Like Doomsday maybe is good, or Blue Black Reanimator, but the meta there also seems to be high on Greyfade, like 3 Fearie Macabres here in the sideboard. Here we only we have 3 Surgical and 2 Containment Priests, 2 Fairies. Okay, that's not that much here in the Nadu midrange deck. Endurance, oh my god, I think this would be really difficult. But let's say we want to play this deck, what would we do? So in those 8 decks, I think the Nihil Spellbomb doesn't seem great, because against Black Saga Storm I often find that it doesn't really help much. However, I think the Gravedigger's Cage is the best graveyard hate card that has some overlap here. Because Gravedigger's Cage, let's open this up, it's quite unique. Cage, come on, where are you? Here. Players can cast spells from graveyards or libraries. So this works against Echo of Eons, but this is an interesting... I think that this doesn't even have Echo of Eons. It's really interesting, it has Necrodominance and Cabal Ritual, alright, so maybe this doesn't fall to Null Rod. And that has Ignosum. This is really interesting because I only play against Paul and he always plays with Echo of Eons, so maybe... So how does it work? What would this stop in this deck? Gravedigger's Cage. Besiege the Mirror, it doesn't stop, but I mean... It works against Gea's Will, but there, I mean, we also have Nihil Spellbomb also works against Gea's Will. There's a Wishclaw Talisman, so we get some equity. Where's my... here. I think the Engineered Explosives are still good. Come on, here. So... What does the Nadu Breakfast deck look like? Okay, this is quite standard. Memories Journey, 2 Narcomoebas, only 2 Tamiyos, but I guess in the last month here there are 4 Tamiyos. Are there 0/1 creatures? No, here are Bowmasters and Staff of the Storyteller. Lots of small creatures. We have the Nomads. I think we want to have 4 Bowmasters here. And yeah, I'm not sure about the 2 Nihil Spellbombs. Maybe we take one out. This one, I think Sneak and Show is an alright matchup because, I mean, it has 1 Veil of Summer, but we have the Sword Seizes, they are really good. Daze Wasteland. I think maybe we want, I don't know, Daze also not great, but the Daze is usually for me the Bauble or Spellbomb slot. So I think against those decks we can bring in 1 Harbinger of the Seas in the sideboard. And I don't know if we really need so many Consign to Memories. I mean, let's see, Sneak and Show, we could like consign an Emrakul trigger, but what else? This one does play Burning Wish, but there's not much red. but against red white energy does Nadu midrange have green suns in it? Yeah. And collector oof Teferi carpet. Yeah, I think we want to keep the explosives. I think Twisted Image could be nice because gets rid of Noble Hierarch. Okay, it's not that much, but at least here it hits Nadu. And here we don't have 0/1 creatures. So maybe not, but Dread of Night looks nice here in this meta. Where is it? Here. I need this in paper and black bordered. I think I only have it white bordered. Alright, Reanimator, we know the drill. Do we need a splash? Maybe also a red splash would be useful, but not against lands. So let's assume here we probably wanted 2 Hydroblasts. Let's get rid of 1 Consign. I think Barrogoyf is good against Mardu Energy, but not against the other decks. Push Bomb Bauble. Maybe we move one of the edicts. I mean, creature removal is really good, but we do have Dread of Night as removal, and we have Engineered Explosives. How good would Brazen Borrower be in this meta? It can bounce Omniscience, but I mean, it's not great. Against lands, Consign is not nothing, because we can consign it with a Saga trigger. But I wonder how good Harbinger is, because those kinds of decks, they have mana dorks, but otherwise it's quite strong. They have basic forest. Yeah, here I think Dread of Night, Engineered Explosives is fine. Against this deck we have the Null Rod, but it's probably not enough, because they have Cabal Ritual as well, like Cabal Ritual ad nauseam. They also have Cabal Therapy. I don't know. What would you do in this situation? But I think the Brazen Borrower would not be great here. I think we can play with only 1 Brazen Borrower. Here the cage is instead of the Fearie Macabre. And now the Edict is replacement for the Borrower. So we have 1 card too many. I mean, we could try it with just no main deck Grave Hate. We could try it. But yeah, Fairy and Cage is not much. I think also many people play Entomb's Day right now. So maybe we do want 1. I'm not sure. But I think we can try it. Let's just try it like this. Okay, let's run it through a league. I mean, of course, this is not the paper meta, so this will not be 100% accurate, but I just want to see if I queue into those decks, if it helps or not. And if we play 3 times against Mono Blue Cloud Post, then, I mean, at least we do have 2 consigns and a Harbinger, so maybe that helps. So I was thinking about the Harbinger anyways. But if we run into lots of Reanimator, especially Turbo Reanimator and Doomsday, something like this, I think it will be quite difficult, because we do not have the main deck Grave Hate. And in our first match we're playing against FunkiMunki. We are on the draw. So let's see which hand we drew up here. And the hand looks really well balanced. We don't have Wasteland, but we have Force, Tamiyo, Bowmaster, Murktide. And we can play on basic lands, however, then we cannot play Murktide. But if we see something like Mono Red Prison, then we still want to go for basic lands, or even something with Wastelands. I think we don't need the Murktide quite yet. So let's see, the opponent mulligans to 6 cards, so it's also possible that it's some all-in combo, in which case we may not want to deploy Tamiyo unless we draw another blue card. So like Necrodominance combo or Oops All Spells, those are the kinds of matchups where I do not want to play out Tamiyo. And let's see the sideboard again. So we do have single edict, we have one in the main against something like Chalice of the Void. We do have engineered explosives. Maybe I could have gone for only Hydroblast and no Blue Blast and went up on Consigns. But yeah, for this expected meta, maybe not. Mox Opal, okay, so this seems a combo or Stompy deck, so not Doomsdays. Looks like Black Saga Storm. Necrodominance, sure. So we don't need the Murktide here. And the way Necrodominance works is, yep, that they draw cards, and so Bowmaster can be really good. However, they do have Veil of Summer in the deck. Alright, so we drew a blue card, so I think it is alright to play out Tamiyo. Opponent also only has 1 card. So, I mean, it's possible that they have Black Source and Necrodominance, but then we can force. So we should be in a really strong spot right now, and next turn we can crack a clue and hopefully draw a blue card. So Wasteland is probably alright here, because now the opponent needs more mana. Also, this turns off Mox Opal, though this is actually right now removing 2 mana from our opponent. So I really like the Wasteland here in this spot. And the question is next turn if we prefer the Bowmaster or the Force. But yeah, because so it doesn't really help that much to have the Bowmaster in play for the combo turn, because like they often have the Veil of Summer. But any bit of damage that we can take off beforehand is really nice. But now we also have the Brainstorm. So I think it's good to flip Tamiyo, because then we can also rebuy our forces. So Sheoldred's Edict we don't need. Another land we also don't need. Wasteland may be useful at some point. And we have Force blue card, but they have 3 cards in hand, so this could be like, okay, Warsaw Saga. Didn't know they play that as well. So maybe it's not all in Necrodominance, but more value Necrodominance. So I think the Bowmaster is good here. So I think we just, I mean, it's possible the opponent doesn't have mana, but I think we just keep it simple here. And the opponent is conceding. So, does the Gravedigger's Cage do anything? Players can't cast spells from graveyards or libraries. I think it does. It's possible that they do play Besiege the Mirror for Necrodominance, but this exiles, so I think it doesn't help. Null Rod is probably really good because the opponent showed us 3 sources of artifact mana. So there is a slight non-bow with our own baubles, but I think we have much more other cards we want to get rid of. like Mishra's like Fatal Push, so we do want Consign to Memory and of course Force of Negation. Engineered Explosives is nice as well. We can kill like the artifact mana, not the lands, because it's not powder keg, it says non-land permanents. So it is possible, because the opponent showed me Urza Saga, it's possible that this deck plays some kind of value game plan. So I think the Bowmasters are really good. Brazen Borrower is actually nice because we can bounce the Necrodominance. Nethergoyf is pressure. What do we want to cut? Yeah, I mean, if they have some sideboard juke with Barrowgoyf, for example, then we already have the Brazen Borrower to bounce it and Kaito to tap it. But maybe we can hedge for it. Wasteland is really nice because of Urza Saga. Yeah, Bauble. I think Bauble is just really strong against such combo decks because it gives us like more ways to draw into the relevant cards. Nethergoyf is really good because each damage we do means one less card they can draw of Necrodominance. Tamiyo is a bit slow because this is more all in. So maybe we tried like this. But yeah, and just hope if they have the Barrowgoyf, then we just hope we can get in Kaito. And if we see lots of creatures, then we can adjust on game 3. Alright, we do have Force and Daze, very strong hand here. And let's see if something comes up where we want Grave Hate. Opponent starts on 7, alright. And it's possible that we lose on the spot if the opponent has, for example, Dark Ritual. And we don't force it, and then they go for example, land and Thoughtseize Necrodominance. We could, of course, also force the Dark Ritual. The question is, if the opponent is on 7, if we should do that or not. I think if the opponent went down to 5, I would do it. But on 7, probably not. Opponent starts on Raucous Theater. I think because we do have the Daze and the Force, I'm going to play out Tamiyo here, which is very aggressive. So playing the Ponder would be the safer play against such an all-in deck, but yeah, if the opponent goes for a slower route, Cabal Therapy, sure, they probably say Force of Will, right? I don't think they are incentivized to name Force of Negation here because, yeah, because we do have multiple 4 Force of Wills and only 2 Force of Negations. Next turn, the opponent can create a Saga token and take our Force of Negation. However, we can Daze it if they don't have more mana, right? And we don't get priority to bounce the Saga token. I think I'm going to ponder for a Wasteland. So this is now there's the Force of Will. I think this is really nice. So we have 2 ways to stop something. Do we want to go for the Bowmaster? No, I think we want to go for Kaito next turn. So let's go for Bowmaster, Underground Sea, Force of Will. I mean, the problem now is that the opponent will not go for an all-in play because if they Cabal Therapy and take our Force of Negation, then they see that we have Force of Will as well. There is a Lion's Eye Diamond. I think this is alright. If they discard their hand, they are free. Then we can just counter their stuff afterwards. And they know our whole hand except Candy Trail, sure. Except they don't know the Force of Will, right? Force of Negation, Daze. Yep, and we have 6 cards in hand, they know 5 of them. And next turn, I mean, the problem is they can also not sacrifice the Saga token. And then they can block. Or they could just attack Kaito. Alright, Mox Opal, they have Metalcraft, they have 3 cards in hand, 2 cards in hand. So now they can, interesting, they don't go for it. I think now we just bring in Kaito. The problem is if we bring in Kaito, then they have already 4 artifacts. They create a 5th artifact. So they have a 5/5 and next turn they have 7 artifacts if they create 1 more. So they have a 7/7 and maybe an 8/7 if they have the Swift Foot boots or however. No, not Swift Foot, the other boots. So I'm not sure how good it actually is to go for Kaito because we get 1 Surveil trigger and I mean at least they also have but maybe they go hard to say. He could also just bounce the token. Yeah, I think bouncing the token is better because I don't know what I want to find. I mean, I would like to find Wasteland, but I cannot play it out this turn anyways. And we also draw 1 card of the clue as well, so yeah, I think we don't bring in Kaito. So if the opponent creates a token, then we have the choice if we bounce it now. I mean, I think it's alright for us. We would trade the token for a force, right? So they don't know multiple. They don't know about the second Daze and about the force. I think we just hardcast Force of Negation, targeting the Cabal Therapy. That's also... So let's see. Opponent may also just attack us first here. Alright. Could be Pithing Needle on Clue token. Problem is the opponent knows about the Petty Theft. However, if the opponent is going to take the Force of Negation anyways, then maybe it doesn't make sense to pay mana for that, right? Opponent plays another Saga, so the opponent is on the Saga plan. I think it makes the most sense to just bounce the token here. And then if they sacrifice their other token, I think this is fine for us. And next turn we could use Kaito to tap down 1 construct. Okay, yeah, they are not sacrificing, so they are not going for the Necrodominance. I mean, Bowmasters also not bad. Yeah, and they don't have haste, right? So I think it's alright if I just tap the construct. Then we have to eventually work against a lot of constructs, but at least for this turn here. And they will probably sacrifice the construct. Yeah. That we tap, so maybe we don't tap it. Maybe it's better if we surveil for a land and play Tamiyo as a blocker. Yeah, I like this more. And now we lose Kaito probably. But I think this is alright. Because we can win without Kaito. So they have 4 cards in hand. They can sacrifice the construct. They can also attack Kaito first and then sacrifice the construct. That's also a play they can make. But I mean, they cannot take Force of Will and Force of Negation, right? So, yes. They probably say Force of Negation this time. Yep. So we are left with double Daze, Force of Will, Bowmaster, Tamiyo. And the opponent has 4 cards. And they have also 4 mana. So if they have like Thoughtseize or another Cabal Therapy. The nice thing is also now we don't have to beat the construct anymore. So the Force of Negation was like a removal spell for us. And we do have the Engineered Explosives in the deck. Somewhere. This looks like Necrodominance. Maybe they have Veil of Summer, but we do have the double Daze. But they could pay by sacrificing Lion's Eye Diamond. And Lion's Eye Diamond, it's the mana ability. I think it doesn't use this deck, but it has some strange timing restrictions where they cannot use it to pay for a spell. But I think it's alright to pay for Daze. So if their hand is now Necrodominance, Veil of Summer, and... No, I think this is alright. Mox Opal. Okay, let's assume the 3 cards are Necrodominance and Veil of Summer and 1 unknown. Because they know about the Force, it doesn't make much sense. I mean, it's also possible they have double Necrodominance. Maybe Dark Ritual. So what happens if we daze the Mox Opal? This doesn't make any sense because then they just don't pay, and that's like if they made mana, yeah. Alright. Ah, they do have Besieged the Mirror. Yeah, search a library for a card, but it's exiled. So now they search their library for Necrodominance. But I think we can just wait and counter that. Unless it's a storm spell like Tendrils, but they don't have that much storm. I mean, we could also counter the Besiege, but I think it's better for us if the Necrodominance is in the, if the Besiege is in the graveyard and the the Besiege will be in the graveyard in any case. but then they have one less Necrodominance in the deck. And we probably want to force pitch Tamiyo so we can double Daze. It's also possible that they whiff on the Necrodominance, but with 20 life, this is not... Oh! They don't go for Necrodominance. We should have countered that one. Interesting. I have not expected that one, so I guess we just go for Tamiyo here. And we crack a clue token, maybe find a wasteland or another land. No. Yeah, maybe I should have just forced, but now at least we have the Tamiyo. And they have 4 artifacts, so again they can create a 5/5. So I think we attack first. Cannot like clue into Kaito. But maybe we draw like, so if we wasteland, maybe they respond and maybe we respond with something and maybe this flips Tamiyo, so I want to have the clue here. So yes, they create a clue token. Sorry, a construct token. And we could go for the Bowmasters here. But I think we can just do that later. Yeah, I prefer it like this because we do somehow need to work on our clue tokens. So I think we just let the construct through because if they don't have more artifacts, it's possible that we can trade Nethergoyf and the Bowmaster ping. Oh, alright, sorry, I touched the microphone. I think there aren't like many artifacts with instant speed, so I think we can just attack here, and damage we deal to them is more important because of Necrodominance. Yeah, they don't block. And again, I do want to have lands here. So I could flip Tamiyo now to get a land. The problem is Tamiyo will die. It's probably not great. I mean, if we draw Nethergoyf, then we can... I mean, we do have 2 clue tokens already. But no, I think it's better if we pass here. Oh, we have 8. Oh, sorry. Yeah, let's... I think we can discard a Daze. So maybe I should have brainstormed for a land here. I'm not sure. Because now we don't have triple force anymore. Now it's a 6/6. And this is the... We already went through 3 Urza Sagas. Alright, we attack first. We don't have mana for double Bowmaster. And I think now we can flip Tamiyo because now we have a blocker. So we don't find a land. I don't really need the Goyf and another Bowmaster. I think we just ponder for more lands. So this is, I think 3 forces is enough. Alright, we don't Let's try it again. There is the land. There's also a Null Rod. So yeah, we want one land. And I think the Bowmaster is not that relevant now. So I think this should be enough against 3 cards. We have force, double force. I mean, we could have triple force. Maybe this is too risky the way I'm playing it here. I'm just going to block with Nethergoyf. All right. So now we can play. No, let's attack first. And the problem with the Null Rod is that we cannot crack our clue tokens. So I think we crack the clue token first. Yeah, maybe we don't play the Null Rod this turn. Then we can play Murktide Regent. Consign's also really strong. Ponder, Daze, Ponder, Brainstorm. So this is 8/8 and we should be able to make it a 9/9 by getting back the Force of Negation as well. And I think, I mean, if we switch this off, the Daze is nice. I think we can just discard the Ponder. And next turn we can crack a clue, hopefully find another land. Or maybe we just get this game over with uptick here. Crack a clue. Wasteland. Waste the one providing red mana. Now they only have 1 mana and now we can just attack with the Murktide and our opponent should concede. Yeah, nice. Alright, we are facing Silent Song and we are on the draw with a nice hand which is really defensive here, so we don't have anything against Roller Saga, but we should be able to face something like combo quite well because we have Daze, Force and Thoughtseize and we can easily reload. With Tamiyo we don't have removal, so what if the opponent plays Tamiyo? Do we want to force that? If it's blue-black Reanimator, we have to think that we don't have Grave Hate in our main deck. So we probably cannot force Tamiyo, but should just try to find a push. Oh, and in the meantime, I looked up our opponent who was last seen on Oops, so maybe we get punished here. So opponent can take our Force of Will or our Thoughtseize. I think maybe they actually take the Thoughtseize, yes. It's actually stronger. Lotus Petal. Can they combo through it? No, they cannot. So the opponent seems to be f6, so it's opponent we do not. It's important that we do not yield through our own turn. I think we play out Tamiyo here, so we have a chance to find more interaction. The Nethergoyf is probably not quick enough. If the opponent has, Cabal Therapy. I think we just Daze it, because now the opponent has less mana. So now they take the force, and the question is if they have to win this turn. Seems like it. No, okay. So the push unfortunately does nothing. So we have to fade the combo here. But I think the opponent will have the combo because they would not have kept otherwise, I guess. Alright. We can 6 here. Yeah, it's unfortunate. We had a quite reactive hand. There are the Narcomoebas. And the opponent does not know about the Fatal Push, so I think we will surrender in response. Ah, they don't go for it. Interesting. They do have the Thassa's Oracle. The library is empty. We make a screenshot here. They have Pact of Negation, so probably no creature pivot. Duress, Force. Dark Ritual. Is there... There is no Memory's Journey here. Maybe either it's the last card in hand, 3 petals, or they don't play it. They have 4 petals. Okay, I don't want to go. I could go like 20 minutes, look through their deck what the last card is, but today I think we will assume it's just not in the deck. Alright, you want Force of Negation, Consigned to Memory, Fearie Macabre, Gravedigger's Cage, Null Rod, Explosives maybe, I don't know. Bowmaster does nothing, Push does nothing. Sheoldred's Edict. I mean, they could have a creature pivot, but I mean, you can just tap a creature or bounce it. So if we look at the sideboard here, Besiege, Charbelcher, Chromox, it's like the same stuff. So what do we bring in? Is there any red stuff? I think no. So what's our last card? Maybe play the Harbinger as a lock piece. It's possible that it does something. Alright, good hand again. It's a bit unfortunate that our hand with Daze, I think it was, yeah, Daze and Tamiyo was not enough. But let's see if we can do better now. With the bad cards out and the good cards in. And we could represent Daze here by going for the Underground Sea. We could also like start with the Swamp and then next turn go for the Surveillant, but it's better to go for maximum pressure because the opponent's deck doesn't turn 1 that often. So if we have 3 Nethergoyfs and we have an instant in the yard, there are at least 2 3s. It's not great, but it's also not nothing. Opponent keeps 7. And I do miss the game 1 instant concede to Nihil Spellbomb. But I just see oops so rarely, and in paper don't really expect it at all. Okay, what is it? Duress? Sure. So we hope we are not dead here. Hopefully the opponent doesn't have a protected turn 1 kill. And we drew a blue card, which the opponent doesn't know about. So this just has to be enough here. Opponent knows about the Force of Negation. The problem is Force of Negation cannot counter a creature. So we probably have to force the Dark Vigil here. Could be a bluff, but I don't see another option here. I mean, the opponent Pact of Negation. Yeah, this is quite unfortunate. We are probably dead. Goblin Charbelcher. Okay, we are not dead yet, but we're probably dead next turn because the opponent does have 3 mana. And I mean, we also don't have enough damage, unfortunately. Yeah, so if this card would be a Ponder and we can somehow... I mean, we do have the option to increase our damage to 9. So let's do that, but probably doesn't help. Wait, but the opponent went for the Pact of Negation. So they cannot... but they can go for Goblin Charbelcher in response. This is interesting. I never had this situation come up. So this is Fearie, which we put into the graveyard. Unfortunately, this is an interesting situation. So the opponent... So when I was relatively new to Magic, I didn't know you could do stuff like this. Yeah. Alright, this is really interesting that they can do that. And we go to -34. And we lose. Okay, so yeah, this configuration is not great against Oops-Old spells, but this is not what we wanted to test. But I think we still played it correctly. Alright, we are playing against Cyrus Bales on the play. Alright, let's keep it. And the opponent, I think, is some content creator because of DB Cyrus Bales, but I don't know which one because they often have like different nicknames. So he was last seen on Eldrazi, but also plays Stiflenaut but a while ago. But let's assume Eldrazi. So this deck does have a lot of chalices. So because of chalice, I think I'm going to start with the Ponder, trying to find some interaction here. Daze is probably good. And next turn we want to probably go for Wasteland or Brainstorm. So let's take the Daze now. And against Eldrazi we want to deploy a threat and waste at the same time. So the problem is if we have to Daze, no, we don't have to Daze here. This is nice. So this could be Loam Pox actually. So maybe we do have to Daze like a Mox Diamond. I don't even know if it makes sense, but let's see. I still think it's correct here because this is a matchup where we should win quickly. Problem is if we get Wastelanded now, but we still have the Polluted Delta on top, so we can go for basic Island, for example. I mean, Kaito is really strong against such a deck. So maybe we don't want to Wasteland, but no, it is not Pox. So Savannah, so I don't know what it is. This could be something with Swords to Plowshares. So we have two options. We could assume Nethergoyf survives. And then next turn we have Kaito, but I don't like it. I think it's better if we Wasteland now. And I think we Brainstorm to have more damage here. Undercity Sewers. And I think we put Kaito on top. And yeah, we already had a land drop, right? So if they have a Thoughtseize, they cannot take Kaito. And we hit for 3, so yeah. And next turn we probably want to shuffle away the land. This is how we drew it up. I think it's okay for us if they take, I mean, if we Daze, then it's, we don't want to return a land, right? So they do take the Daze, interesting. So it's better that we don't Daze, because now we get to Kaito sooner. So now we can Brainstorm. Yeah, we redraw this one, and we do want to have enough lands. For Kaito, but I think a deck with Savannah and Bayou maybe doesn't have Wasteland. So I think I go for Underground Sea again. Let's see. I mean, the Bauble is nice. Problem is if we get Wasteland, but if we don't, maybe they play some small creatures. Doesn't look like a combo deck to me. I think this is alright. So we draw all the cards. Increase the size of Kaito. We draw Push and Bowmaster. The Black Gate, I don't even know what it is. It's a legendary land. Target creature can't be blocked by... Choose a player with the most life, that's me, alright. Target creature can't be blocked. Okay, so rest in peace. I think this is alright with me, because I don't want to lose Kaito, right? So, do we have all the steps? We do have all the steps we need. So we go into our block step. So this is why I'm happy that I don't play Reanimator. But maybe with Reanimator we would have already won. I don't know. Alright, and now we need a Brainstorm. Nethergoyf we don't want. And I think 3 lands is enough for now, but we want a blue card for the Force. Unfortunately, we didn't find a blue card for Force of Will. But I think if it's a slow interactive non-combo deck, then... By the way, we also should think about what the opponent didn't take. Opponent didn't take cantrips. Okay, Cosmogoyf, interesting, sure. We can just push that. And Ponder Daze, Brainstorm are all gone. So let's... I really want to know what the opponent has. Let's start with Thoughtseize here. What is it? Helm of Obedience is a combo which kills us immediately. And this one is a tutor. Exile the top 13 cards of your library and search your library for a card. So next turn they have 4 mana. They want to... Aha, now I understand. This one, the idea is that the Cosmogoyf is really big. So next turn... They cannot kill us with the Helm of Obedience by the turn after that. So I think we take the Helm of Obedience. Because of Rest in Peace, this grows the Goyf. Interesting. Alright, so I think we just push it now. And we try to find cantrip or a force or a wasteland. And next turn we can kill. So Nethergoyf we don't want. Do we want another Bowmaster? I mean... They can go for Demonic Bargain and get something like Swords to Plowshares, for example. So Orcish Bowmaster only does 1 damage. Kaito does 3, but we can uptick Kaito and then this should be enough, right? So I think this is better. Now we just have, we have Force blue card and we have Bowmaster, so this should be like pretty much checkmate because we know most of their cards. Do we counter the Demonic Bargain? I think no, because most of the cards they can get off the bargain we can handle. And this is from some guy who is, I guess, maybe the husband or son of Rebecca Guai, one of my favorite artists, and the art also looks similar. Alright, Demonic Bargain. They have the Black Gate in hand, which they cannot play, and 1 unknown card. Yeah, I think we just assume that it's not an... I mean, they could have something like Abrupt Decay or Assassin's Trophy, but they already had their land drop this turn. So if they have like Lotus Petal and Assassin's Trophy... No, I can counter Assassin's Trophy. Abrupt Decay does not handle Kaito. Abrupt Decay on Bowmaster's not enough. What did they get? Ah, we don't see it. Alright. So now we cast the Bowmaster. I don't know how to... I think against this deck we want to cut the Nethergoyf. Because of Rest in Peace. So Murktide's also not great, because also graveyard interaction. What did we actually see? We saw only Rest in Peace. We can consign the trigger and we can also counter the Helm. So I think Consign and Force come in. Push is good, Nethergoyf is bad. I mean, it's also possible they don't have the Rest in Peace, but I mean, Barrowgoyf's also not great against this, but at least has Death Touch. So maybe they don't only have Rest in Peace, maybe they also have Leyline of the Void. But what else? Bowmasters. I think Bowmasters are not great against their deck, but they probably also play their own Bowmasters, so counter Bowmasters are good. Sheoldred's Edict is nice. So Gravedigger's Cage doesn't help. Null Rod is good against their combo. Engineered Explosives is like an emergency out to Barrowgoyf, or maybe they have Carpet of Flowers. But I don't know how relevant that is. I mean, we also saw Savannah, so yeah, it's a deck focused around Cosmogoyf and exiling cards from your library. I didn't see red mana and red spells. Dread of Night. I mean, I saw white, but I think white is only for Rest in Peace. So I would assume probably no Barrowgoyf if they play Rest in Peace. Daze is nice against 3 drops. Maybe Live from the Loam, I don't know. Maybe I should have added a 4th Ponder, I think, yeah. If I don't play the Nihil Spellbombs. Thoughtseize I like because it seems to be like a synergy-based deck. I mean, Murktide's probably not great if they hit a Rest in Peace. So maybe we go out of Murktides, but if we go out of Murktide, how do we actually win? Only with Tamiyo, right? And at some point we can maybe bounce it. We only have a single. Oh no, we have no time. Oh no. I totally did not see the timer. Now we are with the pre-board configuration. Oh no, I don't like that it just resets to that, right? This is so unfortunate. I completely forgot about that. There should be like a warning. Now we have all the... Now let's just hope the opponent doesn't have a Leyline of the Void or something. And then we draw Nethergoyf. Opponent mulligans to 6. We do have the push for the Goyf. We have something against Wasteland. Mulligan to 5. And we only have a single Brazen Borrower. So against off-meta stuff like this, which we also could see in a paper tournament, I think the Brazen Borrower could be nice to bounce a Leyline, for example. Alright, no Leyline, Forest. So let's ponder here. I think Kaito is excellent and lands are excellent as well. But we don't need Kaito next turn. So let's draw the Flooded Strand first. And I mean, we don't have Force or Daze, but the deck seems to be a bit slower, right? So there's the Rest in Peace. All right. Now we could go for the Thoughtseize, but then we don't have the Bowmaster. I think it's alright. Because the opponent cannot play... The opponent cannot play the, what's it called, Helm of Obedience without... Okay, Carpet of Flowers. It's annoying, but just hope that we find a force with Kaito. Is it another carpet? No. Rumble, sure. Wait, but it doesn't even work. Ah, this works, okay. And we see more cards. Veil of Summer, sure. Now we can kill the token. But then we don't get a token. I think this is alright. They probably don't draw many cards. So, yeah. We can still... The problem is if they have Swords to Plowshares, now they can prevent Kaito. Alright. And it's possible that going for Kaito is not correct here. Because we may not find a force, especially because we don't have the Force of Negation. So I think because we already have Wasteland and they have a Carpet and we already have a Brainstorm. Alright. This is what I want. So now in order to win, the opponent needs land plus Helm plus Veil of Summer, for example. And next turn we want to waste the Underground Mortuary. And we don't want to play blue sources. There is a Swordseize, yes. So opponent will probably take our Force of Will. And then they have 4 mana and can play second main Helm. And the problem is we only have a single... Oh, what is it? Demonic Bargain. Probably... It's also possible that they exile all their cards they want to find. Helm of Obedience. Two Helm of Obedience. Ah, and we don't know. I already... Yeah. Alright, so they could have tutored for a land. But it's unlikely. And yeah, it's really unfortunate that we don't have the Null Rod in the deck. So they have 1 card in hand. Ah, wait, why didn't they discard? Ah, they discarded Swordseize, sure. But now they also have to handle a Force of Will as well, right? So I think it's better if we Brainstorm first here. They cannot Bowmaster. We don't see Bowmaster. We see Voidwalker, Veil, Helm, GWB Cosmogoyf. So I think Bowmaster just isn't super relevant here. And I think we just go for the Swordseize here, taking the Helm of Obedience. And now I think it doesn't matter that much if we give the opponent mana, because they have no cards in hand. So let's go for the Underground Sea here. Now we just try to find enough threats and forces. Ah, and the Murktide is our pitch card. Because... And we have to think that the Surveil just moves into exile. I think we don't want another push. Tamiyo I like in the spot. And I think we don't waste, because the opponent has how much? 5 mana, 6 mana. I don't think they have spells that cost more, so I think it's better investment with the Wasteland if we just do something else with it. Like crack clues, play Bowmasters, opponent draws more lands, sure. Alright, do we want to win with Tamiyo Ultimate? I think that's not necessary. I think we just... Let's see what the opponent draws. But the opponent also has a fetch land and can change this information. The Black Gate. Yeah, I just think we just draw 3 cards each turn. And win this way. Ah, now we flip Tamiyo, right? Do we want more lands? Yeah, I think more lands is better than having to discard. And now we have double force, double blue card. And we can also, with Bowmaster, it should be lethal again, right? Because the Bowmaster does 3, Kaito does 4, it's 7. Oh, it's not enough. Opponent adds some mana. Or am I missing something? Opponent is at 7. Tamiyo uptick. Yeah, we only have 5 damage. Maybe we try to brainstorm to find another Bowmaster. Yes. Right, this should be it. And this should prompt a concession here from the opponent. Yep. GG. And in match 4 we play against Jaeco, an unknown opponent. We are on the draw and we keep it. I mean, we could lose to some crazy oops combo, but okay, it's Loam Pox. Swordseize, sure, let's press 6 here. If the opponent doesn't take another Golf, we probably take this. And then we have the Daze for Smallpox, right? I mean, Nethergoyf probably won't go through, and we can look at our Kurdi MTG guide for Loam Pox. So to be honest, I wrote the Loam Pox section a few months ago when I didn't think much about this deck, but right now everyone is super hyped about this deck somehow. So the opponent took Brainstorm, so it seems like they have the Golf covered, but I still think this is our best bet. It survives Bowmaster already, so we don't have to fetch here. So, but right now everyone's super hyped because it did top 8 Eternal Weekend NA. So do have to think about the time a bit, but here is the section in the tempo guide. So I wrote an experimental mixture between lands and pox, so a lot of similar things apply. Force of Negation stops life from the Loam for good. Kaito and to a lesser extent Tamiyo are hard for them to handle. Okay, Wasteland, sure. Fatal Push is of limited value, and normal creatures like Nethergoyf and Murktide Regent have trouble getting through. However, the deck has neither the explosive exploration draws 2020 Merit Lush nor the extreme grind power of Black Pox. I find it easier to handle than both. They also lack the land tutors and utility lands like Caracas, Maze, and Tabernacle. And Orcish Bowmasters has a lot of use here. Important timing on their Bowmaster in response to the trigger to prevent the stack from being empty and Hogak being cast. And our sideboarding guide says in Barrowgolf, Brazen Borrower, Sheoldred's Edict, Force of Negation, out, Daze, and push. However, the deck is much more prevalent right now, so probably people also put much more testing time into it. So, we cannot Daze now. Sure, we have to push. So yeah, maybe if you have another opinion about the deck, feel free to tell me if you would do something differently, and maybe I also get put into place here for being so arrogant and thinking it's a good matchup. Let's see what you do want. So I think we just, I don't know, maybe we don't need to address the Bowmaster right now. I think it's important to play around Wasteland, even though it's the problem is maybe this was a mistake because now we cannot Daze. Yeah, I think we have to push here. No, I don't know what I did. I had something totally different in my mind. I thought I wanted to play another Nethergoyf. So I switched my plans mid-play, so I should think it through first, because I wanted to fetch for a swamp, and then I thought, then I cannot daze the smallpox, and now they can go for the smallpox and delete our land and our Nethergoyf, and they can crack the hatchery. So if they have the smallpox right now, we have a big problem. Maybe we have to surrender, but they also don't have many cards in hand. So if they go for smallpox and cannot empty their hand first, maybe they want to attack first. Now go for the smallpox. Second main to maximize damage. Yeah. So I think Daze has some value here. And the Nethergoyf's not as strong because you have to go through the hatchery tokens. But I mean, it does provide some pressure. So we take 3 turns to go through the hatchery token. No, I think we discard the Goyf. I think all the rest is more important. They are flying also. So we can, I think it's better to brainstorm now when they don't have Bowmaster. And Tamiyo's really, really nice for next turn. So let's hide Sword. Swordseize we probably don't need, because they have 0 cards in hand. I think at some point Kaito may be good. I mean, it will take a while. So optimally we could win with just Tamiyo. If we draw Tamiyo at some point, if we can draw Brainstorm at some point, then we can make the insect tokens useless. Alright, now we probably lose because we have a dead draw here. And then the opponent can create Saga tokens. So they can... they charged the hatchery as well. Yeah. So now opponent creates 1 Saga token, which is 2/2, and then they have a 2/4/4. And then they can get something like, I don't know, Pithing Needle on Tamiyo. I think we don't win this. Oh, they don't attack. Okay, if they make mistakes like that. I think we thought these here. Puts us to 11, but yeah, let's take the exploration. I still think we attack here. I mean, if they have the boots, they need 1 additional mana to equip. Right, they can triple block, my bad. Right. I somehow thought they can only block creatures with flying, but yeah, that's the reason why they didn't attack. At least we got a clue, so next turn. But I think Tamiyo also doesn't do much if we don't attack with it. So what will we see? They don't have expedition map. They do have the lava super boots, but they don't have mana. But we are dead next turn. They hit us for 7, we go down to 4. So let's consider. Also, I think I should add engineered explosives. So yeah, we can play Tamiyo, but we're still dead. So we said board out Fatal Push and Daze, right? Let's consult the guide again. So Daze push out, Barrogoyf, Edict, Force of Negation in. And I think we want the Engineered Explosives as well. Graveyard is quite important, yeah, but we don't have the Nihil Spellbomb, so this is a bit of a problem. So we could sideboard out something else. I mean, Consigned to Memory probably not good enough. Maybe we do need the Fearie to handle stuff like Life from the Loam. And they have a few artifacts, but probably not enough. This one doesn't help against Life from the Loam. Ah, but this helps against Hogak from Graveyard. I don't know if it's worth it just against Hogak. I think it is quite important to get rid of Life from the Loam. Fairies just... maybe try it with one Bauble. Let's see. There may be also some applications for Consigned to Memory, like Urza Saga triggers. Yeah, we have to mulligan this. No land. We have to mulligan this. No land. This is a bit rough. This is one land, so let's get rid of... Didn't I board out push? What's happening? Ah, I let in one push by mistake. Alright, so we can put that back. And maybe Goyf as well. And I think we are so far behind we cannot risk playing around Wasteland here, because if they thought, they could also just as well thought this Tamiyo and then we have nothing going on. So I think we just accept our fate of losing to Wasteland here. They probably thought this away Ponder, but if we draw a land then we can maybe clue our way. Oh, they could also go for Witherbloom Command. No, this doesn't do much right now. Orcish Bowmasters is a possibility. Life from the Loam. So now the Fearie Macabre would maybe be good. Fatal Push, sure. Sure. Interesting, because in my guide I say they don't play exploration. So now we ponder. Wasteland could do something. Yeah, maybe we just try to cheese them here. Because they didn't play a land with exploration, this means they don't have a land, right? So I just think we go for the cheese here. Problem is we don't have mana to use Brazen Borrower. Okay, so maybe they just go for Life from the Loam and we lose. Yeah, but maybe they only have lands and no threats. Now we draw Force and Borrow. Do we want to get rid of Exploration or Mox Diamond? Probably not. I think we wait for Saga Tongues, but I cannot really see how we could come back into this game. But I don't really understand that they hadn't, probably they had Life from the Loam in hand and just drew the land off the top, right? Now we have the Force. So now they can cast, what is it? Life from the Loam. Yeah. GG. So maybe the matchup is harder than I thought. And in the last one, we are playing on the, oh, it's interesting, on the play versus Toby Blade, who was last seen a year ago on Turbo Reanimator. So I guess you just start on Underground Sea, Thoughtseize, and accept losing to Wasteland. Or we could alternatively also ponder for a land and a force, but I don't really like it that much. Opponent is also mulliganing. We could also go for basic swamp, but then we cannot daze and we cannot ponder. So I think just accept losing to the Wasteland here. Alright, it is indeed Reanimator, and they also do have the combo. So I think we take the Entomb because they have multiple ways of reanimating. They have like 8 reanimate effects and not that many Entomb effects. So let's take the Entomb here. Also, we don't have Nihil Spellbomb. Now the opponent can destroy our hand. Maybe we just Daze actually. Yeah, I think it makes sense because we don't have a second land. I think we just Daze the Thoughtseize here. And move on with our life. This also makes the Cabal Therapy worse. And now, I think now is we can take a turn off and play Tamiyo because Animate Dead and Entomb is 3 mana. They have 1 unknown card. I mean, if the 2 unknown cards are exactly like Entomb Reanimate, then they win now. Or Dark Vigil, Entomb or something like this. But I think in the majority of cases we should survive this turn now, and then sure they can say Force of Will and Whiff. Come on, say Force of Will. They name Brainstorm. Alright, interesting. Nice hit, Mr. Opponent. Nice hit. Maybe because we dazed the Thoughtseize, maybe. Opponent goes for Polluted Delta. And what is it? Faithless Looting. Yeah. So let's see if they can find a fatty. If yes, we are in major trouble next turn. Yes. They did find Grizzlebrand. Alright. So they have Animate Dead in hand. We know. Ah, yeah, because they didn't. So we attack first, and then this single ponder here has to carry the day. Come on, ponder. Find something. Force, Daze. Wasteland is nearly it, but not quite, because they have 3 mana and we don't have Daze. So we just have to shuffle. Yep, it's Wasteland again. I think this doesn't really help, but let's still do it. I mean, it's theoretically possible that we survive Grizzlebrand, just not very likely. Ah, maybe we should have gone for Kaito instead. But I mean, probably they just draw 14 cards now and shred our hand and reanimate again. So this is one of the few cases where I want to bring in the blue blasts against Turbo Reanimator, because the red is not just a really small splash, but seems to be a major color here. Yeah, and opponent can probably also the animate dead super strong here. Dark Ritual, Entomb, Reanimate. Maybe we get more information here. Archon of Cruelty. Opponent already knows about the push. And next turn we lose 15. So we probably don't get more information. Unmask gives us more information. We know Unmask is in the deck. Swordseize, more information. Great. So, yeah. We concede here, and right now it's really popular to play in Doomsday, but that, and they did show us Underground Sea, but I think a Doomsday doesn't play Badlands, so I'm not playing around Doomsday. But anyways, we bought out Push and Bowmasters. I mean, I did win a match a while ago, or a game, because the opponent grizzle branded into my Bowmasters, but that's not really happening that often. So we get our Gravedigger's Cage and Fearie Macabre, Force of Negation, because it's Turbo Reanimator. We don't want it against the Value Reanimator, but against Turbo. We want to counter the red spells. And Consign is good. If they switch to Doomsday, it's nice to have. We didn't see, did we see green in the first game? I think no. If we saw green mana, I would bring in some. No, they had Bayou. Bayou usually means they sideboard into Witherbloom Apprentice. So I guess we want to bring in one Sheoldred's Edict, because this gets around Veil of Summer. I like it more than Push, I think. And Null Rod against Petal is alright, then it slows them down, right? For example, they get Grizzlebrand, and it makes our Dazes better. But what do we cut? Wasteland is nice. I think Goyf is good because it makes Reanimate worse. Brazen Borrower is a blue card. But we have a really good blue count. I think we get off the last Bowmaster. And maybe -1 land. Maybe 18 is enough. Why is the Bowmaster here again? 13 seconds. Why is the time? There should really be a warning or something for the time. Alright. We keep it. And we have to start with Thoughtseize, because this deck is quite fast. Problem is they can Thoughtseize our Tamiyo away, but it's not so important. Dark Ritual, Grizzlebrand. So maybe they can hardcast Grizzlebrand at some point. But right now, how much mana do they have? 4 7 mana. No, this is 6 mana. So Griselbrand is 8. But right now I want to get rid of the Animate Dead. So opponent now has to assemble both sides of the combo. Or find like one more ritual would do it, right? That's 8 mana. But we can find a Daze. I think we have to Brainstorm next turn. And then we can disrupt the hand. Alright, they don't want to hardcast Griselbrand. Yeah, it's maybe a bit not good enough. Alright, Tamiyo. And Brainstorm. This is nice. Kaito doesn't really help much. And the consign I probably... Oh no, I want to get rid of Undercity Sewers and hide the consign. Or hide the Brainstorm. I think the Brainstorm is most important, yeah. Brainstorm Sewers. Brainstorm Sewers. And the opponent doesn't seem to be pivoting into Doomsday or Show and Tell or what have you. Bloodstained Mire is a new card. Swordseize, sure. We have put the Brainstorm on top. And I think we know... No, this was from the first turn, right? This Raucous Theater. So I think we have complete overview of our opponent's hand. Or not, but this doesn't make sense. Maybe I made some mistake in tracking. But if I see it correctly, the opponent does not have any unknown cards. So I don't know what the fetch is meant for here. No, it's correct. Alright, we know we have... Ah, they get rid of Kaito. Interesting. Interesting. So, opponent has 3 mana, 4 mana in hand. They are at 7, but we have the Daze. I think we just get back the Thoughtseize here first. Take the Dark Ritual. Yeah. This makes our Daze better. And now I think we go for the... No, I think it's better if we fetch first, because we don't want the land.
Wie lange brauchst du noch für dein Video?
Right, so but we could also go for Undercity Sewers and Brainstorm next turn and hold up Consign. Yeah, maybe this is better actually. And Daze is not great here, but we do have the option to go for Emergency. I think Wasteland is nice. And... But we already had our land drop. So this Wasteland is for next turn. I mean, they have a lot of mana. But maybe at some point they have to play into Daze. They play the Bayou. and Petal. So it seems like they're still going for hardcast Grizzlebrand. So now they are at 5 mana. We uptick here. I think we can brainstorm now. And we probably want to Wasteland. I mean, they have 5 mana. Next turn they have 6. And if they draw Dark Ritual, they have 8. And then we Daze, right? Let's count again. This is 5, 6, 8. Yeah, I think we can put back Underground Sea. But we want all those cards, actually. So I think it is indeed... Yeah, but if you want all the cards, then... Yeah, if you want all the cards, we just stack it like this. And at least we can stop them from going for something involving red mana. I mean, they do have the petals, but the petals are just for one-time use. So the information, it's really useful here. We have... Does not play out the Polluted Delta. Interesting. Now we draw into the land. And there was a land below it, I think. So we fetch. Now we brainstorm. Opponent has 1 unknown card. Yeah, the Hydroblast is nice. The Daze is, I think, not needed right now. Because the opponent is at 5. I mean, what is with double Dark Ritual? So if the unknown card is Dark Ritual, opponent has another Dark Ritual. This is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 mana. And with Wasteland, yeah, I think the Consign maybe it's not so helpful right now. So, but I think we want to Consign next turn. Ah, we already had a land drop, right? Sorry. So now we could lose to double Dark Ritual because I misplayed. But I mean, Consign also doesn't help against Dark Ritual, right? Maybe we Consign a Lotus Petal. So we waste here. And I think we just go for the uptick. If the opponent has Entomb Reanimate, we could lose here. But the problem is if we go for the downtick Tamiyo on the Thoughtseize, we could also lose. So let's downtick and hope they don't have Orcish Bowmaster. Because Daze is not enough. But I think if they had Orcish Bowmaster, they would have played out the Polluted Delta. Yes. Alright. I think this was... They did have a lot of petals. So maybe if you do find a space for the Null Rod, but it could also be too slow. Maybe the Brazen Borrower is not really helpful. We didn't see creatures, right? We didn't see anything like indicating like spoils of the vault or what's it called? Witherbloom Witherbloom Apprentice is a bit slow, but if we survive turn 1, this is nice. Problem is we don't have black mana. I think we have to mulligan it, unfortunately. But it's close. If it had black mana, I think I would have kept it. I don't like this even less. Let's go to 5. I think we have to keep here. The first was best. Let's put back Nethergoyf and the second consign. Yeah, we probably go 2-3 in this league, I guess, because this is a really weak hand. Now with Thoughtseize and no mana, no black mana at least. And the opponent started with 7 cards in hand. So now discard spells are really strong against us, and we don't have the Tamiyo. Yes. So I don't know what they will take. And the opponent does not seem to combo. They took Daze. So interesting. So they probably, if they discard Daze, they are probably tight on mana. We didn't see any green cards, so I think we take the Raucous Theater here. Also, we do have the red stuff covered with the blue Elemental Blast. But still, like last game. And now we don't have the Daze. It's also possible they just don't care about the other cards. Thoughtseize makes sense because we don't have black mana. Yeah, Force of Negation is alright, but yeah, I would have liked to have something like Tamiyo going. Maybe the opponent is going for a natural discard and there's blue mana. Maybe they go for Show and Tell. Dark Ritual we could force, but I think I'd rather force. I'm too much down. I have to risk it, I think, here. There's the Witherbloom Apprentice. Alright, they go for that. So now they discard themselves. And we should still be in an alright spot. So Consign doesn't really help. They are targeting themselves. So this is also written about in the primer. So we wait for them to empty their hand. Interesting. If we had like not wasted. No, yeah. We lose another life. And they are discarding the last card. Problem is, it could be a fatty. No, it's not. Alright, now we force pitching. I think the Consign just doesn't do that much right now. I think Murktide is alright here in this spot. Now we just have to hope the opponent doesn't top deck another Chain of Smog. Ponder is really welcome here. And another land as well. So next turn we probably... So it doesn't really matter, I think. Now we do have Blue Elemental Blast up. And maybe we don't want the third land, actually. Opponent plays out a land. So what was it? It was another fetch land. And I'm so bad with the cards. I think I'm just going to shuffle here. Right. Opponent is shuffling too, but they have 0 cards in hand. I think it was another Thoughtseize, right? Yeah. Fearie Macabre is... Nah, it's alright. I think we keep it. Doesn't help against the reanimation. That's interesting. Do we want Fearie Macabre? I mean, they probably still have Reanimate in their deck. However, it doesn't help against if they draw the Chain of Smog. For that we need Force of Will. I think this is alright. Maybe we lose because of that, but it could also allow us to pump Murktide. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have a 6/6 and opponent has a few rounds to top deck something useful. It's also possible that the opponent draws into Faithless Looting, right? And the opponent has 1 card in hand. Now it's also less risky to Thoughtseize here. Daze, unfortunately not that strong. We lose, we win the race. Is it a Veil of Summer? This is of course a bit annoying. Because this gives the opponent more draw. Ah, Surgical. Surgical on what? On Raucous Theater. Sure. That is certainly a valid play. But they lose. Yeah. And now they don't even see our hand, right? So we could Fearie Macabre our own Murktide to increase the clock. But I think that's not worth it. So we probably Daze something next turn. We 100% Blue Elemental Blast this Faithless Looting here. That's why we brought it in. And opponent brings us to 10, sure. I mean, we could also lose to just flashback Faithless Looting. Yeah, the opponent actually gets a lot of life from the triggers. Let's ponder here. Force of Will is super strong here. So let's grab the Force. And the question is, do we want to get rid of the Faithless looting? I mean, the thing is, if they flashback Faithless looting, they don't have any mana, right? So I think we just use Fearie Macabre on our own stuff, hit the opponent for 8. They go to 7. And then they can flashback Faithless looting and play a land. And yeah, I think this doesn't help. Because I think after the Faithless looting they don't have mana. So let's get rid of Swordseize and Ponder. So even if the opponent gets 1 life, they should still be dead. And I get 3 damage, go to 5. And the opponent can... Okay, opponent has nothing, can now flashback the faith, and we go for the 3-2, which is okay, I think, but we won the matches we wanted to, but yeah, let's do a recap. Alright, so as a recap, our meta we faced was much different than the paper meta we wanted to tune for, but there was lots of graveyards, so we lost to 3 of the 2 graveyard decks, 2 of the 3, sorry, we lost to Oops, which is usually a matchup I really like with the 2 main board Nihil Spellbombs. And I mean, of course, yeah, but maybe you don't count Loam as a graveyard deck. So I think here the Nihil Spellbomb would have been nice, but I think you can win against it without it. Interestingly, we won against the Turbo Reanimator deck. And even without it, and the Grey Fate didn't even come up. We won against the Necrodominance deck, which is good matchup for us, and against the Cosmogoyf deck. Here the Nethergoyfs were really weak. So yeah, it's hard to say if we prepare the deck for one meta and face another. But I guess at least one Nihil Spellbomb, at least here, would have been really nice. I didn't need the Harbinger here. So yeah, going forward with the leaks, I think I will again play at least one Nihil Spellbomb. Probably it would have been useful at least against Turbo Reanimator and Oops, of course, and also against Live from the Loam Pox deck. And also we didn't need so many Bowmasters. Yeah, I guess I'm going back to 3 Bowmasters, but of course this was tuning for a different event. Here we also didn't use the Harbinger, so maybe for leaks we go back to this deck, even though I'm not really a big fan of the Spellbombs, but we just have to include them probably if we want to win leaks right now. Maybe I go down to 1 Nihil Spellbomb and 3 Dazes. I'm not sure. The Dread of Night didn't come up. The Hydroblast came up. The Consigns, I think more Consigns could have been useful. Gravedigger's Cage would have been good if we drew it against this deck, because it stops flashback, right? It doesn't stop dredge. Yeah, but I still like the deck, but maybe this configuration not for leaks. But yeah, what do you think? Feel free to tell me in the comments, and see you later.